Manners maketh man. You know who said that? The Black Critic Guy, and I'm here today to review the film Kingsman, The Secret Service. Now, Kingsman, The Secret Service is obviously about the Kingsmen, who are a secret organization of classy British gents who have some of the finest suits imaginable, who are tasked with saving the world from trouble on a regular basis. And it follows Eggsy, a troubled yet talented youth who gets recruited to join said organization, as well as stopping this man named Valentine for performing his nefarious plans. Now, after seeing only the first trailer to this film, I was hooked. I was really looking forward to Kingsman: The Secret Service. I just loved the sophistication of the world that they were building in the trailer, as well as the blend between the comic book elements and the spy espionage elements. I felt like they complemented each other so well. And for those of you who didn't know, yes, this film was based off of a comic book that was also made by Mark Millar, who is the creator of Kick-Ass. And this film was directed by the guy who directed Kick-Ass. That and the inclusion of some high caliber actors like Colin Firth, Samuel Jackson, Michael Caine, and even Mark Strong, this film was shaping up to be one riveting, awesome, kick-ass action film. But then I got really disappointed and very scared when I heard that the film's release date was going to be pushed from August 2014 to February 2015. It got me really scared, thinking that the film was actually going to turn out to be really bad. But I'm here to say that the film is not a terrible film. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's a whole lot of fun. The best thing about this film, which at the same time is the one thing that most people want to see in the film, is the action scenes. They are fucking crazy as hell. And I really mean that, guys. It is balls to the wall, over the top bloodfest. One scene in particular, the church brawl, that was without a doubt the best and most insane action sequence in the entire film. It was fucking pandemonium in that bitch. To be honest, that scene alone made the film and left me speechless. Not only were the action scenes really thrilling, but there were some intense moments in the film that just made me really anxious. The skydiving scene in particular, my god, I was just biting my nails wondering what was gonna happen next. That was one hell of an intense scene. And many of the characters were complete badasses that were so much fun to watch on screen, even though most of them were very underdeveloped, and we'll get to that soon. I never thought in 100 years that I would describe Colin Firth as a badass, considering all the romantic comedies he has starred in, but that's exactly what his character was in this film. He was a complete badass, so sophisticated and just smooth. He played the character so well, and he convinced me that he is a complete badass. Is it too late for Colin Firth to play James Bond? Because I most definitely could see him playing the role after seeing this film. And the main character Eggsy, although very cliche, don't deny it, was not a half bad character either. He had his standout moments, he had his emotional scenes, he kicked a whole lot of ass, and he could be pretty smooth from time to time. And the actor that played the character, I have no idea what his name is, I'll put it right here, I thought he gave a really solid performance for the character. But without a shadow of a doubt, the most badass, and in my opinion, the most interesting character in the entire film is this girl. I don't even know what her name is, yet she left such a lasting impression on me from her badassery alone. She has blades for feet. Blades for feet, and she can like cut people in half with ease. This girl is menacing as hell and such an intimidating and fascinating villain. Honestly, throughout the entire film, I wanted to learn more about her. How did she become so badass? Why did she end up with blades on her feet? Why did she end up teaming up with Valentine? I wanted to learn so much about this character because of how awesome she was. But now I guess that leads into the problems that I had with this film. Without a doubt, the biggest issue with this film is that the film suffers from a style over substance mentality, meaning that while the film put a lot of focus and attention on creating these stylistic, awesome kick-ass action scenes, they really slacked on building character and story. And it's clearly evident since most of the characters are generic, bland, stereotypical characters that you would see in an action film similar to Kingsman, and just way underdeveloped to the point where you don't really give a shit what happens to any of them. I think the only time that I kinda felt a bond being created, although it was a weak one, was the one between Colin Firth's character and Eggsy. I kind of felt it, but at the same time, I never felt like it was a really strong one. Like, oh man, these two are like thick as thieves. Like, they're gonna be with each other to the very end. No, I didn't feel that at all. What's even more ridiculous is that every single girl character in the film is so shallow and generic. There is nothing interesting about them. The only one that is the exception is that girl with the blades for feet. She is very interesting, but they don't even go into like a backstory or at least explain or develop her a little bit more. You could make a counter argument that that's not the point. She's just supposed to be a badass female character and that's all we need. But honestly, as a very intriguing character, you would at least love to know a little, just a little smidgen of what this character is and what she's like. Never given to you at all in the entire film. There's this one female character in the film that is so cliche and generic that it really pissed me off because she could have been a very interesting, awesome, kick-ass character, but they made her resort to this really cliche, almost crybaby-like girl, which why? In a film about spies, why not make her as badass as the other spies as well? Even the story itself is a tired cliche that we have seen countless upon countless of times in other films, and sometimes done better. With this troubled adolescent who lives in a bad neighborhood and has an abusive stepfather and a neglectful mother, he gets caught doing all these bad things, he gets called to greatness by a mentor type character, goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, only to come out on top and become this awesome kick-ass spy kind of character. Gee, never heard that one before. And I wouldn't have had a huge problem with this cliche had they developed the characters a little bit more and made it just a bit more interesting. But they didn't. And tying in with the clichéness of the story, the first half of the film was very weak, especially the opening scene of the film. The minute that I saw the opening scene of the film, I got really scared. It looked like a fucking cartoon that I was watching. It was that silly. And also tying in with that issue, the CGI in the film looked pretty bad. Like unrealistically bad to the point where it just took me out of the movie a couple of times. But honestly guys, even with all those problems with the film, I overall really enjoyed watching Kingsman: The Secret Service. And if you turn your brain off while watching this film and just enjoy the high octane, over the top, ultra violence of the film, you'll get a kick out of it too. And that's why I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely an enjoyable film and one that I would recommend to people who are fans of Matthew Vaughn. And if you would like to see a film that is very similar to Kingsman: The Secret Service, I would definitely recommend checking out Kick-Ass, which was directed by the same guy. And definitely you could see it because of the ultra violence in both films. I would also recommend checking out Men in Black, which also has that whole secret society and this young guy joining the club kind of thing. Hell, watch any James Bond film. It's very similar, it's just that James Bond is a little bit more serious and a little less violent. Except for the earlier films, which were very campy by nature. But anyway, what did you guys think of this film? Did you really enjoy it? Did you get a kick out of it? Or did you find it really generic and bland and you just couldn't get into it? And let me know, what is the most balls to the wall, insane action sequence you've ever seen in a film? Comment below and let me know. And until the next video comes, guys, if you would like to be a part of the Black Critic crew and not miss out on a single awesome video on this channel, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and like my Facebook fan page, link will be in the description. And I'm Tony Wally II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace YouTube.